Welcome to another installment of the Moo Room. My guest today is Godzilla's here again. Say hello, Godzilla. Godzilla.
Saying hello.
And the aristocratic asshole or some shit has returned.
I summon Birdface!
I hate you. I can't even turn this shit off. Get an asshole. Oh, we even missed a few shows, so we're just gonna
Started it.
talk about whatever we feel like talking about, whatever we're in the mood to talk about. See that?
I see what you did there.
Clever. It's a clever
Yeah,
thing.
that was actually
Mood
pretty
to
clever.
talk about.
I just got a few things. Do a quick show today, and they talk about whatever. We can just talk about whatever. You brought up the fucking ticket shit, and I think, okay, so basically, I loaned somebody, my sister, my car, and she decided that she wasn't going to pay any tolls while she was in it,
Yes.
and didn't tell me about it.
Went down the thruway, looks like. Went over what I assume would be the Tappan Zee Keg Bridge twice. Fore and aft.
And didn't tell anybody. And apparently there were some notices coming to my house for my car. I wasn't aware of it, didn't see it, and that just happened that my landlord they put one in his mailbox. I assume is that what happened, or you just took the mail?
I saw it in your mailbox.
And he
You
opened it,
said the
and
hell is this?
instead of $15 or $20, it was $171.
Jesus Christ, what?
So then I called her, and I'm like, "We got a problem." Well, I mean, I have a problem, but I'm hoping you can help me, right? So of course, it's I don't,
I don't have any money.
I need some time or whatever. And I'm like, me too. And when they take my fucking license, I'm going to need some time. But the thing about it is, like, the toll itself is like $8 each way on the bridge, right?
Thruway was $5.50, and both ways over the bridge was $8. Each violation for going through the Easy Pass lane without properly being tagged was $50. 3 times.
So that sounds like a money-making thing to me.
Yes.
I mean, it's clearly an extra $5 I got to pay you. Fine. That's fine, right? I fucked up.
And somebody also asked, like, how do you get past the gate? It's like, no, there's a person there with the gate. You can't get through. I'm like, no, she went through
Yeah, she was
the
with Easy
fast,
Pass. Yes,
the literally
yes.
easy
There
pass,
is no-
the fast pass, drive through this lane, and there is no gates. If she had actually just gone into one of the gates on one of the bridges where they're, like, sitting there, it still would have been an issue, but at some point somebody might have said, at least I'm hoping she didn't actually go through 3 different times. No, I ain't got it.
The kicker here, she could have just asked me for $30. We wouldn't have had to even, or I could have just kept my fucking car and not loaned it to anybody and not even worry about it.
That sounds like a better idea.
And no good deed goes unpunished, right? Anyway, moving on.
Instead, car gets impounded.
Lose your license,
suspended. Whole 9 yards.
Uh,
And then they're going to be surprised when you don't want to loan the car.
You
out
see
next
what I'm
time.
talking about? So I got a few topics here, and you guys, again, you can talk about whatever you want, but I do want to hit the thing real quick about Trump pushing through do you remember what country that guy was from? That he pushed that out
I
of the
don't
way?
remember if it was.
Did you hear about
the
this?
UK.
Okay, so basically it was it like a UN meeting or something? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I believe it was.
It was a UN meeting. I'm sure you heard Trump. So they were going to get ready to take a picture, and some other leader of another country was in front of Trump, and he decided to push that person out of his way so that he can be in the front of the picture. Now the thing about this is, when you see the video, it's clearly that's what he did. There was because he's perked up and it was like, yeah, I did it. And
he LeBron James his way to the hole. He wanted 2 points, and he split the defense. If there's a referee, they probably would have called an offensive foul.
Do you think
because he used his arm?
How do you think this is going to make? How do you think it's going to? People are going to be like bugging out about this? Do you think it's going to be viewed in kind of way these other countries, or
I
is
think
it's nothing?
There's 30 different things that they picked at on his trip. That'll just be one of 30 things that they can point to and laugh at.
Yeah, they're all over him, man. You can't get through the day without hearing about this guy. But I don't really care that much about this. They let him do it, and they didn't really react. The guy didn't really react. He's kind of just surprised.
Yeah, I think the guy was surprised. The leaders, I think, just looked over, like, huh, what? But it was one of those.
Yeah,
oh,
in
that
the
just
end, I don't
happened.
really think they really care that much at all.
Yeah, I don't. It just is really inappropriate. That's all. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? But when you look at how smug he looked when he did it, it's like you're just out of control.
That's something they could actually legitimately be complaining about, but it's going to get lost in the other, as I
Yes,
said,
that's true.
30 things they're going to be complaining about.
Anyway, I didn't want to talk about that too much, but one of the things I saw somebody with a leash on their child the other day,
Really?
and it kind of was like, I had some feelings about that.
Now, Was this so the child didn't like
Run away.
run away?
Uh-huh.
Obviously, but
Like
It wasn't a choker like with the diamond studs pointing. Into
it was the
neck.
one on the wrist.
on the wrist.
Okay. I always
I guess
wish they had,
I
like,
guess
the choker
that
around
one's
the
like a
neck.
little bit better, but still, yeah.
I don't think that's you shouldn't be leashing your child. It kind of reminds me of how people they talk about putting chips in their kids. That's like a thing now.
I
They
believe
put,
some people
put
actually do
fucking
that.
chips in their kids.
Yeah, some people actually do that so they can like locate them.
That technology is there. I'm not as bothered by the leash around their wrist in terms of holding on to them, as opposed to I've seen the ones where actually literally somebody had it around the kid's neck like they were walking a dog, and I'm like, all right, well that just doesn't even look right, regardless of how it works. That don't even look right. At least the wrist thing, you're not going to get across the street without, but you're not going. I can understand that. I don't know that I would do that, but I can at least understand that one. I've seen something where somebody had, as I said,
Around the neck,
and
a
I'm
choker like that? No, we're not doing that.
I was being obnoxious with the diamonds in like a dog, when you're like trying to.
Would you do that?
Would
Would you leash your child?
No, I don't see a reason to.
Would you
But I'm also tall and have a long arm. They go to move, I just reach over.
probably just say a few words and they'll just stop.
That's true.
S-
As long as I have to bend over, so if I bend over, my back would go out and we're in trouble. So
I fell on the
they
stairs
need to be
today.
tall.
As long as you teach your child at least a little bit of discipline,
What is the kid was young?
And
He was
it's
like-
hard. I mean, if they're like
yeah, it's difficult,
2
but
or
it's
3,
possible.
I mean, they are kind of hard to hold on to. They kind
Yeah.
of run all over the place.
I fell on the stairs today. That's
Yeah.
it. I don't want to talk about that anymore.
And I almost fell the other day, but it was walking backwards, cleaning.
I laid there for a little while too. I mean, I said I didn't want to talk
I guess
about
I'll just add in that I did not almost fall recently. Just throwing it out there. I want to be, keeping it like a ladder. This guy did fall. This guy almost fell. I didn't fall.
Yeah, was walking backwards and thought I was on the bottom landing, and I was not, and went to take a step back and would have stepped out like I was on the landing.
I was 2
and that
stairs
would have been.
higher than I thought I was. So I had turned back because I forgot something, and went to go run up there. I was like, "Oh, I got it in my pocket. What the hell's wrong with me?" And then I turned back thinking I was on the bottom step, and I was not. And next thing I know, I was.
And next thing you were on the bottom
next
step.
Then I was on the bottom.
Yes,
yeah,
you didn't think you
that's
were, but
true.
imagine-
Next thing you know,
did
you
that.
got body.
And then I laid.
I did the same thing, only I was backwards, and this is the stairs at work. So if I fell, it would have been into the concrete wall,
that would suck.
and I just imagine pain and anguish.
So I laid there and I was like, I don't think I want to go anywhere. I'm just gonna go back upstairs and go to sleep.
Yeah, he told me about this. He said he's just gonna lay there for about 15 minutes, not tell George anything,
Just go back
and then just
upstairs.
go right back upstairs.
I didn't though. I manned up about it. Anyway,
Armin Godzilla, sorry.
so this bombing with Katy Perry, you guys heard about this, I'm sure, right?
Yes, that I have heard of, which is kind of ridiculous.
Bombing with Katy Perry,
Yeah, not Katy Perry actually. It's Ariana Grande.
Oh yeah.
the Ariana Grande concert.
Same
Yes.
shit.
Same thing.
No, it's not the same shit.
I know what you mean.
That
Though. I
these-
thought there was something else. So maybe I.
Did you hear this shit about her
It-
talking about she wishing her like her fans like dead or something? Did you hear anything about that?
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
I heard there's some video of her like wishing her fans like she was something about them dying or something like that, and then this shit happens.
That's pretty. If that
Yeah, I
actually
think it was
happened, that'd
something.
be
I
kind
think
of
it was a
ridiculous.
rant.
Yeah.
I think I heard a report. I don't know if I've seen the video, but I remember the thing with her licking the donuts at the donut shop and saying, "Oh, look at these Americans, like red, white, and blue frosted donuts." She like licks them and like laughs at them. I hate America or some crap, and that went viral, and she had to do an apology video because people got a hold of her acting stupid. In
You
some
think we
donut
can
shop
look at
somewhere.
donut and become famous?
Nope.
Darn.
If you have a euphemism for donut, you could lick one and become
So do you
famous,
have any
depending on
details
which
about
one you
that?
get.
I know that there's like about
Details on.
The bombing.
I think 19 like kids died, and it was about 50 plus that got injured.
22.
22. So I'm guessing it went up because it was like.
Did, so
mentality.
what was did the Islamic terrorists claim that they did it, or is that what they they always?
ISIS
This
claimed
was in Britain, right?
responsibility. Britain was a guy, refugee. I don't. Was it Libya? I think it might have been two Libyan parents. They were refugees fleeing Libya.
It was 2 parents that did it.
The
It was
two parents
people?
had fled, and that's who his parents. That's why he was there, because his parents had fled Libya, I believe, and that's why he was there with them in the UK.
So he killed himself too, right? He blew himself up.
I don't know. They said a suicide bomber, so I actually haven't really paid close attention to it. I think he did blow himself up. I don't think he had like a firefight with the police.
How come the girl didn't blow up? She wasn't in the crowd.
What girl?
Ariana Grande?
Ariana Grande?
Yeah.
He was near the exit. He wasn't up by her. He was by an exit when it went off.
I don't listen to her music, so I don't know anything about her.
I don't know anything about her either.
I like the one with her with Nicki Minaj and what's her name? Bang Bang. That song a couple years ago. They did the 3 of them on the. Otherwise, I don't listen to Nicki Minaj either, or Ariana Grande, or
Yeah.
much of anything. Too busy listening to my monster movie music.
I don't even know who that third person was. Bang Bang? Big? What did you call it?
Bang bang.
Bang Bang.
All right. I just wanted to have a few thoughts on that. I don't really need to fully discuss the ramifications of that happening. I don't know.
To be honest, I've actually been out of touch with reality for like the past week and a half, so...
It's probably a good thing. So I saw a video where this guy was on a bus, and there's this lady on there. She's dropping all these N-bombs.
Oh, I thought there was another video we were going to reference, but that was a podcast for like a month and a half.
N-bombs. She's dropping them like what? Like she does. So then she's talking to this black guy, and he's like, "Say it again, say it again, say it again." She keeps saying it. She doesn't give a fuck. And the guy asks her to stop the bus. Stop the bus. Tells the bus driver to stop the bus. And when he stops it, he tells her to say it again, and she does it, and he slaps the fucking shit out of her. And then she wants to call the police. So the question there is, did the guy go too far? Should something happen to him? Like, what do you?
Well,
so
this
what do
was
you
a
think?
conversation. She was saying nigger at him.
I don't know what
what
the
was the
exchange
context
was in
of-
terms of how it started, because that part's not in the video. Denise, the one I saw. But the bottom line was she was just dropping N-bombs towards that guy, and he hadn't done anything physical to her yet. But she kept dropping the N-bombs, and I don't know what the context was completely. But the bottom line is,
I can understand being
he
sworn
slapped the
at.
shit
I
out of
don't-
him.
I don't see a justification, and I don't know nothing about this all aside from your retelling of the story. But I
Yeah.
don't see a justification.
So based on
Putting
what I've
hands
said, what do you
on
think should
something.
happen to him?
Based on what you said...
Because I saw something where,
Well, she
I'm sorry, go
she
ahead.
can file assault.
Yeah, based, like... You know, if somebody was saying it to me, if I was black, and then, I mean... I probably don't have the same mindset, I guess, because I haven't been through, like, the struggles that... that, you know, black people have been through.
Struggles.
Anyways,
And what struggles are you referring to? Slavery? Is that what you're
I think
talking
he's
about?
I think
I'm
he's
talking
the
about
holes in the
racism.
socks
yeah, the holes in the socks, racism,
Race,
all that.
racism, all that.
that represents.
You ever never experienced racism at all? Being a what are you?
Being a what? No, actually.
Spelunker.
Anyways,
I thought he
what I was
gonna
gonna say is
Spelunking
that-
racism.
a four-letter word there.
anyways, I think he took it too far because in the end they're just words, you know. And it's like there's always that phrase, words can always hurt you more than.
I
fix you
heard
dumb
something
crap.
where.
But it's like he said, I don't actually know the full story. I don't know
she
the context. so.
she's protected by, free speech. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, if somebody is saying something that is known to incite violence, then you're not protected. That's something like that.
Speech that incites violence is not protected speech. That's why I was asking for the context. Like if she was threatening him, depending on what was going on. But at that point, he could have simply gotten off and left. He didn't.
Yes, he absolutely
It
could have
doesn't
done
sound
that.
like I'm being described a story where he was in physical harm.
No,
or
not
concern-
at all.
or concern
Okay,
for his
basically,
life.
he
was.
He's
reacting to her
back
to be
behind her.
disrespectful.
He's back behind her. They're not face to face or anything. She's up ahead in the bus, and she's dropping M-bombs, but violently towards him. If you know what I'm saying, you fucking know.
Yeah, I understand.
So then he gets up and he keeps saying her, say it again, keep saying, say it again, say it again, and she doesn't stop.
Yeah, he's being confrontational, going over to her.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, it's just
He will be held accountable for that. Now, by the same token, for me, I don't know how the system always works or doesn't work, however you want to say it. At the point that would be brought into court and that evidence is presented, she could be charged with some things as well.
it's very true.
Public indecency, various other things that could be thrown onto her. Like, oh, well, the court sees your assault case and raises you, blah, 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 blah.
Well, it's not.
Yeah, like they could like counteract it with like a hate crime of some sort, but it might be a little too difficult to do that. But because like I said, it's just words, but it is possible.
He is black and she is white, so he might just go to jail, and that's the end of it.
Oh, I didn't hear the context of there was different races. I figured it was
Oh
a
yeah,
black woman
she's
doing
no,
this.
she's white. I'm sorry about that. I thought that was went without
No, they
saying.
just said woman.
Blacks and blacks, they say that shit all the time. It's nothing.
Yeah, I just thought it was.
No,
it
it's a
was what
white
it
woman
was.
dropping those.
So
I
I
mean, I
guess
could probably pull it up. It's not a big deal. So like,
Yeah, when it's different race that's doing that, yeah, there could be something to that she can call the cops and might have a point in assault, but I still say there could be charges filed against her as well for public indecency. I don't know what other charges. They elude me now of what might be brought.
oh, is that it? Yeah, this is it. It's not that long, luckily.
They said to me, Mrs. Kelly, you're not allowed to touch him no more. All that other was talking on that bus. I don't care. You see, right?
They bleeped up the nigger there.
Why is there a guy with the pants hanging off his ass?
Of course, he's advertising.
You're missing your stop.
Is that the guy?
Yeah, it's him right here.
Fuck it, I don't care.
Stop it!
I don't. Nope. Oh, well, you lost me already.
And you start bleeping out the nigger.
They need to bleep out that fucking shit I see hanging off of his pants.
Oh, so he did like a hit and run.
Slap in the face.
Well, he told the bus driver to open the door, and then he smacked her. And then the funny thing about this though is like she's talking all that good shit, and then he slaps the shit out of her, and then she falls apart.
That usually is what happens.
You get the gist though. You like it.
Well, same thing with the news reporter that got bodied. Oh, you broke my glasses. You body slammed me. I want to know if he's going to go back and pester that guy again. Was
that the senator or something?
Yeah,
he was questioning about the healthcare bill or something.
Yes.
And he kind of like barged into his office or something. Is that what it was?
I've only heard. I haven't seen if there's actual video. I've heard the audio of it and whatever.
The funny thing about that is he made sure to say what was happening because there was no video of it, so it was all audio. So the reporter made sure that he said what was happening. He wasn't disputed. The guy.
You can see like afterwards, he like looks distraught. I'm like, but you're like if you're like getting in this guy, I used to think that was a badge of honor. Used to be a thing that you wanted, and I understand you don't want to be assaulted, but I used to think it was a badge of honor to get at somebody like that and cause that reaction. You were kind of proud of it. He looks like he's wounded in the corner, ready to cry. My glasses broken. I'm like, what do you want? Like this here. I'm like, the point you're doing, what you're doing to that guy, you have a right to legally take him to court and have the cops go like, this guy assaulted me, but like, what were you expecting? To me, she expected that, right? Didn't you think that's what was going to happen?
Well, she didn't expect to get smacked in the face, but what's up happening in these situations? You're right. It's obviously you talking that good shit. They don't expect people to react. Most people just take it and just move on, and that's what you should do. And you shouldn't be hitting people, but you run into people that won't do that.
Yep. Some people just like, nah, you know what? Today, fuck you.
Yeah, and then they just react. So she wasn't expecting to be slapped.
You already lost me. He had his pants hanging off his ass. I don't care about him now.
But
I'm throwing the book at him.
Yeah. So I don't know. The women, I think they both should get a little something, but you can't be putting your hands on people. Only time I condone that.
I hope he going to jail because there's no reason for him having the pants off his ass.
You can't put your hands on people, so you got to just kind of walk away.
Except when you're in jail, you get your pants hanging off your ass. Then you put your hands out and other things on and in people.
George, don't you get it? It's the style. It's cool.
It sure is.
And I'm perfectly fine with it. Go ahead and advertise. Go right ahead, you fucking... I saw some video on TV with some rappers arguing or something like that, and I'm like, pull your fucking pants up. Why do you have a belt on? Have you seen that shit where they had the belt on and their shit's down to their knees? Have you seen that?
I'm thinking these people obviously never get into fights because that's an automatic takedown because you're fucked. You can't fucking move.
Like, what is the point of that? Really? You're that cool? You gotta have it down to your knees?
I want to start
with a belt.
I want to start a new thing where people tie their shoelaces together and they can't actually walk. They have their shoes together. I'm going to then go up and I'm going to pick a fight with Brock Lesnar while his fucking feet are tied together. Like, I think I might be able to get something in now while your feet are tied together.
Pull your fucking pants up.
It's cool.
What is that?
It's cool to have your feet together. You hop around. You do the hop. It's like a dance.
I don't.
So stupid.
I think
I honestly don't have any words for it. It's just.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't know any other way to put it, but maybe they know something we don't.
They're escaped people from Anderson School. That's what it is.
Do they?
They are consumers.
They know something you don't. Yeah,
they sure do know something I don't.
Maybe they get the girls because of it. Well, and the guys.
Maybe.
The girls and the guys. They don't know they're getting the guys, but they get them.
Really
or maybe they do know.
Maybe they're getting the girls. Maybe the girls.
If that's really a thing. More power to them.
I was told it's just the style. To not.
Yeah, I know.
If any ladies are watching this,
told you that too.
If any ladies are watching this, you let us know.
I think it's a style.
Yeah, please comment. You let us know if that is something you like.
Are you interested when a guy just has his ass just hanging out of his pants?
Well, I mean,
is that a good style when you go on job interviews?
No, we don't want to do that there. We're not.
No. You see the guy and you say, "Please, could you leave?" And then you
just get a nice view. It's not their ass hanging. Obviously, it's their they got it below their underwear or whatever. I don't know.
I don't need to see your underwear and pants hanging off. Yes, it's stupid.
I remember one guy.
From a decency standpoint, I totally agree with you.
I remember one person did it one time.
Decency standpoint.
Like, this is actually here where we live. There was this guy walking, and he actually had like the sweat stain in the back of the underwear and everything. I'm just like, I don't know if I should tell him. I'm probably not. because it's just gross. And I'm
It makes
probably
me want to vomit.
Can you give me
when
a
I see
nickname
it.
to who the fuck that was?
I don't know. It's just some random person.
In the house?
No, on the street
Oh, on the street. You said like happened to hear. I'm like, what are you talking about here? I said,
here,
"No."
as in this town.
It's always these skinny
That's,
black
of course,
guys
that
makes
shit's
me sick.
everywhere.
I hate it.
And I'm just looking at it like, what's wrong with you, man? Just you have pants to.
I love when they have the belt on and do that. That's my favorite. It's like you have a belt on and you're doing that. I can get if you have pants that just don't fit and you're struggling, but you got a belt on and you're doing that down to the knees with a belt. Whatever.
Yeah, brings me meaning to the term plumber's crack.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. Sexual harassment and how it's viewed by men and women. So one of the things, like something came up recently where I had a situation where one of my employees was doing and saying things to one of my other employees that was just inappropriate. I saw it, I'm like, you need to stop. And this person didn't think anything of it. And it was a male to a female, right? And one of the things that this person doesn't know is, from my experience, women will tend to internalize it and not say anything, and that makes the men think it's okay. But then when it comes down a bit further the line and something comes of it, they have a problem, and the men end up getting in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I think women should, or whoever, men or women. Well, hey, you shouldn't play that game in the workplace. You just shouldn't.
Yes.
Like, you're just gonna get. It's just not wise. And regardless of how close you think you are to somebody, a lot of them don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want to make it shit awkward. They don't want to, make you feel some kind of way. But at the same time, they're not liking it. You know what I mean? And even if they are liking it, still it's work. So you don't want to be bringing that shit into work. So
The interesting bylaw on that, though, is it actually has to be unwanted.
That's
the
right.
problem
They
I
got to
don't
tell
like
you
about
not
it.
to do it at least
Yes.
once.
Yeah, I was actually.
It
gonna
has to be
mention that.
unwanted, because if it's actually banter back and forth, it's not harassment if it's not unwanted. But at the point that somebody actually says it's unwanted, then it turns into, and that's the other reason why it gets to be a problem, because people take it too far. There's a little banter back and forth, and people don't care. I joke back and forth, and then somebody takes it too far, and then they go, well, that's too much. And then the guy or the girl says, well, there was not an issue before. What happened? Like, what happened was I told you no, and you didn't stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a game
Like,
you just
like
can't
the kid
play.
that got punched in the face when he twanged the girl's bra.
Yep.
My mother was, I referenced that to her the other night. She's like, well, yeah, back when I was in school, that was a joking, semi-innocent. And I said, well, depending on the age of what's going on, it still can be. I won't say innocent anymore, but I'll say harmless.
Yeah,
That
but he
could
did
be
it multiple
that could be
times.
happening, but once or twice and you're done. But at the point you're doing it multiple times, and then you're told no.
And the brawl came apart.
Right, you're told no. Then you keep doing it, and it comes apart. You get what you get.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So I think a lot of young people are just not aware of how these things work, and they don't realize that they can easily lose their jobs easily.
No, they don't know.
They just have to understand the magnitude of the situation. Just don't do it. You could lose a lot.
Yeah, and
Over what? Flirting? Or your attempt at flirting?
the favorite part,
Whatever it is.
the best thing.
The biggest piece of people being fired is sexual harassment. We have a former theater manager that was always his undoing. All the stupid crap he used to do, that was what got him canned at places, was sexual harassment.
I think men don't appreciate how much women put up with when it comes to men and their aggressions towards them. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I would agree.
Yes.
I think men don't appreciate it, and that doesn't mean that women don't overreact and they don't string them along and all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line is, I think women are kind of like they're just sex symbols for men, and they're just like they get oogle and it's just I don't think we appreciate it because we don't endure it. So you like. And they put up with it because they don't want to cause a situation.
And we don't have a problem with it, but we also don't have it coming from every corner of every person.
Right, and then we
Women,
don't.
I think, could have every guy in the office could be making oogle eyes. Or
Right,
making
and then we don't
comments.
appreciate it because it's to us it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like
It's
it's
because
just.
it doesn't happen to us
Right,
as
and it doesn't
often.
happen to
So
us
it's like
just
whenever
even
it
in
does
sheer
happen,
number.
it's just like, oh, wait a minute.
You know what's funny about that? When
No.
it does happen the other way around, it's like the men are like, "What are you gay? Like what is your? But you can't do the double standard there. You got to treat it the same as you do a woman." Even though
Technically,
I have a serious hard time with that, and I I'm like, you're coming to me, you're telling me you're upset that a woman rubbed you on the shoulder or whatever. That's what
attracted to you, or
you're
is quote unquote harassing you.
and you want me to do a whole thing with this, huh?
Yeah, I know. It is very much a societal double standard that we all deal with. Because I agree with you. That's pretty much would be my
Totally
thought
agree.
also.
But there have been stuff where I've heard like the women, like a woman boss, will like try to force herself onto the male employees, and then if she doesn't get what she wants, she fucks with them, hours wise, promotion wise, all that kind of shit.
And once again, most of the guys, particularly if they're single, we're like, and the problem is,
Can't look at it like that.
I know, but you're right. It's a great.
Have you guys ever endured any or seen anything like that at your jobs?
Yes.
Not name no names.
No names at all. But
I've never endured. I don't have that problem.
Seen it or
well, I'm not going to call it
Yes.
sexual harassment because it doesn't bother me. But there's some of the older ladies that I know sometimes that will say certain things towards me.
Like what?
It's even like some of the customers. They'll even just say, "Hey, you can actually come over to my place and work with me there." And I'm just like, okay, that's
Wait, so how do they look? No, don't do that.
No,
That's
no,
the
no,
old
no,
spicy.
And then before that, I had another
You're
job
good.
where like I had these two coworkers that would go downstairs to the basement area and watch porn together
What the fuck?
while
At work?
while on the clock. Yes.
Wow.
Rocking on the clock.
That's bold.
Yeah. And yeah, those are like the only two things that happen. Mainly it's just the customers that just come up to me and just be like, because I'm a cleaner and I do a fantastic job. And when the ladies,
So in other words, we should no, don't.
when
do
the
that.
ladies see me do that, they usually just invite me over to their house in some fashion. So I mean, it's obviously a joke sometimes. I think I don't know.
A lot of times
But-
people tell the truth under the guise of a joke.
Yes. Every joke has some kind of like truth bearing to it. Yeah.
Not naming names, but I had a situation in the last few years where I had what do I want to say? I'll say an independent contractor working at my job, and he propositioned a female at my job in a friendly, joking manner, and she didn't take offense to it in that sense. But when I heard about it happening, I immediately snapped to a reaction because I can't have that, particularly because I knew
cannot.
there was another girl who was going to be coming into work that weekend that I knew he would be doing that with.
That could have been a whole scene.
Yes.
For real. Yeah, you gotta be very by the book when it comes to sexual harassment. You cannot. You have to take that very seriously.
you
And
gotta
I came to
take-
find
you gotta
out that
nip
the
it right in the
person
bud right in the
patrolling these
beginning.
independent contractors had no protocol for dealing with that.
You have to take your own personal feelings out of it when you're dealing with it.
Right, and that's how she should have looked at their boss. She should have really like addressed it from the standpoint of this is really inappropriate. Let me find out what's going on and not necessarily defend my workers.
I was dumbfounded that she not only didn't seem to take it seriously because he tried to defend himself by blaming something that happened with me earlier in the week to say I was just out to get him. She immediately went to him, and they turned it back around to me because I wanted to solve the situation. It turned into, oh, I'm making a big deal out of this.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm pointing out this took place, and you're upset with me pointing it out because you think I have it out for
So in
this
other
guy.
words, you want me to let you get sued
Right.
and not deal with it before that
I'm not
happens.
even saying, like, okay, even if that was the case, this happened somewhere. Now, it turned out the guy that I accused, because I didn't have the full story, was not the person that had said it. It was another guy that was with them.
Yeah, but that would've
so
been-
they had that point.
That would have been weeded out though if they took it
Right.
seriously.
But rather than him saying it wasn't me and then blowing, because she'd take it as, oh, it was a made-up story. Like, no, it's
Wow.
not made up. It actually happened. But then it still turned, oh, but you accused him of it, so you're out to get him. And I immediately backed out of it saying, no, I made the assumption because of how he interacted with me earlier in the week. I assumed it was him. I grant you that. But I'm not out to get him. But yes, I did make an
I
assumption.
had a more actual severe one happen when I was younger. This is kind of bad, so get rid. It's not. It's just this is a little like personal, but I was working with my stepdad at a camp, right? And we were like
Camp Crystal Lake.
cleaning the cabins. I don't know, it wasn't it's right?
Got
So we're
bodied by Jason, didn't you?
no, we were cleaning the cabins, and he was like painting the pool and all that kind of shit. And it was owned by this old guy. And I don't remember all the details of it. I wouldn't say it anyway, but I remember that the guy asked my stepdad, is he always is quiet talking about me? And I didn't think nothing of it. So I'm there cleaning the cabins, whatever, and he's ordered, my stepdad's cleaning the pool, and I'm cleaning out the cabins. And the guy comes into the cabin. This old guy, like 70 years old, comes into the cabin. And he's asking me how's the work going, all that kind of shit. You know what the fuck he did? This
shudder
man,
to think.
George, pulls his pants down and said, "Give it to me." I was, like 12.
What?
Yes, it's this crazy shit. And I know this is a little different from what we're talking about, but it's the same kind of thing. 12 years old, and he's like,
This is like some college Indiana shit.
listen,
I
it was
heard
fucking.
news
I just froze because I was like, what the? I don't even know what. I was 12 years old.
Like,
I didn't even know what he was talking about. Like, what is even like? What do you mean? I mean, I kind of figured it out, but I'm like, I'm terrified. Like, what? So then he, eventually I just, I kind of somehow talked my way out of getting the fuck out of there. But I remember the whole time we went back to my stepdad and he paid us whatever. And the funny thing about it is when he was having the conversation with me before he did that, he was talking about, am I getting paid enough and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, sure, whoever doesn't want more money. You know what I mean? So then he did that, and then I was, so then we went back, and after he finished the work, he eventually left because I just froze, and I think it scared him, because it was like, I didn't even, so, he left, and so now I'm just like, my heart was beating, I'm just like, I didn't even want to be there anymore, I just, so I finished the job, went back to my stepdad, and finished helping him paint the stuff, so after we got paid, after he left, I told my stepdad about it, and he did not believe me. He thought I was making it up.
What?
And a lot of times that happens when it comes to that sort of stuff. Because it's like they rather believe that the person isn't that bad as opposed to believing the possibility of that actually happened to, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like when it comes to that kind of stuff, you got to go on the side of the child too. Like, depending on the kid, I guess. And some kids lie all the time. You just like, whatever, you're lying again. But you can't, that's something you got to like. But he did not believe me.
That's definitely something to at least look into, at least try
Did
to.
not believe me at all. Thought I was completely lying. I never went back there again, because I just, he would ask me about it. I'm like, no, I'm not going there again. We're done. But I guess I didn't really mean to go into all that, but it's the same kind of thing. So,
Yes.
all right, we're going to switch to the last topic, and this is, something happened in the last podcast that they did a superhero podcast. And I wasn't part of it, but I heard that something came up about people having prejudice. So what it was, and it's probably a good thing I wasn't in there because I would probably got a little angry and a little argumentative. But the question was, would you go to Newburgh at night on Main Street, right? And the person that was there was like, well, that's a prejudice question. And I'm like, when I heard about it, I'm like, how the fuck? So if you know, and obviously there's a certain amount of violence involved with it, just the question alone makes you think that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically they're not wrong, just to say that word. Prejudice is prejudge, but we prejudge everything we do. So.
And okay, so I'm like, so let me get this straight. And now, obviously, the question implies that there's a certain level of violence that happens on that street. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was like, I wasn't there, so I'm like, and when they told me about it, I'm like, so let me get this straight. You're told, you know, based on statistics, that 1,000 people die on Main Street a night. And I decide that I don't want to go there at night because I know what's going to happen, and you're gonna call me prejudiced or whatever about it. And so I'm like, you're damn right I'm prejudiced when it comes to knowing some information that's could potentially get me hurt, and you want to try to make me out to be the bad guy because I prejudged the fact that shit's happening over there. I'm sorry. I think you're kind of gone and a little bit off to the side what you're thinking.
I would agree.
Cause like, what the fuck? Because it was said in a way to try to like make the other person feel bad. Because when they throw that word out there, it's kind of like how they use racism now. Mm-hmm. Look, I was actually happy that she used prejudice because that word is more appropriate a lot of times. The racism, so they
We need to bring that word back.
Right, so they throw racism out there because everybody responds to that. You call somebody racist and they're automatically condemned and like nothing that they say matters anymore. You say you're racist or prejudiced.
I use the word. It can be racial. It doesn't have to be racist.
So when I heard about it, the conversation, we had a little bit of conversation about it, and it came to the conclusion that I think everybody has a little bit of prejudice in them because I think it's a natural reaction to your environment.
Yes,
and what you see I think whenever you put the word out there, prejudice, people automatically go to, KKK, that level of it, or,
it's usually an extreme.
Right, extremes of it. And it's like, no, there's variations there. So when you try to use it in a way to condemn somebody to be, oh, you're a racist, prejudice, blah, 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 and I'm like, I'm racist about certain aspects of my own race in terms of things that I've dealt with myself. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm condemning a whole race, but the bottom line is just things that I've seen. So I guess you can call me prejudiced to an extent, but everybody has a little bit, I think, and so people will get offended at the thought of, I'm not prejudiced. You know, how dare you say that to me? I'm like, I think everybody is to an extent. And it doesn't mean you got to go out there and fucking noosing people up. That's not what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you don't have to noose
So I
people
think
up.
it's unrealistic to actually say that there is no that people don't have any prejudice born in their body, because people get offended by the thought of that.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't think it's realistic.
Well, I'm known as the king of analogies, so I always give the people, like, well, if you take the amount of sharks in the ocean compared to humans, and the amount of people that go in the water versus sharks in the water, infinitesimal. But you can't tell me that if I took you out on a boat and there were great white sharks swimming around, because there's a 99% chance they're not going to mess with you, everybody's going to go jump in the water and swim.
You're damn right.
That's
you're not.
prejudiced. Sharks aren't looking to eat you. They don't care about you like that. Are you going to go jump in the water?
So then the thing is
Like,
there. So the
no.
person that's doing that with the word prejudice, like, okay, jump your ass in the water because you don't prejudge people. You don't
Right.
prejudge the sharks.
You need to
Get
prejudge
in
the
there.
Sharks, just get in there.
Get over there on
They're
Main
not looking for
Street
you.
with 1,000 murders a night and take your chances because you don't prejudge, right?
I've said that to the guys for G-Fest in the summertime. Like, oh yeah, we might go into Chicago this year. I'm like, I think I might be done going into Chicago. I don't mind going into the main parts of Chicago, but they sometimes take some wrong turns. We wind up in downtown Southside Chicago, in places they don't belong, and I'm the only black guy with them. And I'm only light-skinned. I'm not full on, so I at least blend in. Now look, I'm like, guys, I can't help you here. I can't be here. With, like,
So
five
all right,
white
so even
people
let's take that.
walking
So
in.
you, like, some of the listeners might be like, okay, well, that you're prejudiced in the sense that you're assuming that those areas are dangerous, and these guys that are with you who aren't
There was
black,
no assumption. There was taking
who
logical
aren't
numbers.
black, you're now prejudging that area, and
Yes.
it's like,
Yes.
well, you know what? Yeah, I am,
I'm calling
and
a spade a
I'm
spade.
telling you that I'm not prejudiced in the traditional sense of the word. I'm letting you know that this area is dangerous, and I don't want to go there.
Yes, exactly. Which is what I
Sometimes,
told them.
you know, you hold the mirror up and you don't like what you see, but the mirror is the mirror is the mirror. You get mad at me, it's like, it is what it is.
We walked about 3 or 4 blocks in, and I saw the scenery change. I said to him, like, guys, we need to get out of here. I feel okay here, but I don't feel okay with you here. Because you clearly stick out. So we look like tourists. We're looking at the phones, looking at the maps. We look like we know what the hell we're going, what's going on. That is a license. That is a kick me sign on your back.
Have you guys ever endured any, like, real racism? Like, when it comes to somebody calling you a word or treating you a certain way?
Actually, there's only one incident that actually happened to me.
That doesn't count if I call you something. That doesn't count.
It wasn't you.
Because
So actually, I was actually locked outside my house one time and minding my own business, just waiting for just to get inside. And I guess there were college kids. They drove by in a Jeep, you know, without the doors, all that type of a Jeep. Now I was only like, I don't know, maybe 15, 16 at the time, and they called me a nigger.
Damn!
And
You're not even black!
That's the thing. I'm not even black, and they just yelled it out like
Thank you.
they knew, and then you know, they just driving off doing their own thing, and that's like that's the only, like, I guess, racist thing, even though it wasn't really racist because I'm not actually black, but that's the only thing that actually ever happened to me.
And
Well,
sometimes people do that because they think they're being cool. They don't even care.
Well, I can
they're
tell
just
you,
being
we're kind of
obnoxious.
sometimes we get just all grouped up. If you're not white, you automatically are just. And one of my friends, Nazar, was talking about how, I could password, right? I'm like, no, my
No,
friend,
no, you can't.
you cannot. I hate to tell you, but
I can say honestly, I don't think I've ever experienced it full on. I mean, I may have had people have interactions with me and had it at the back of their mind or a thought process, and it has happened on occasion. I've gotten into it with somebody verbally at work. Not that often, like, but I mean, like, extreme cases where somebody's like really out of control, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? But I think because of my size, people would be a little bit less inclined to say what might be really on their mind, or they might be more concerned about it. The only time, which I've mentioned you before, was coming to grab you at the culinary and parking in the cul-de-sac in the fire spot, knowing I was running upstairs and leaving in a couple minutes. Not supposed to be doing it, so I acknowledge that right off the bat. You're not supposed to be parking in a fire lane. You're supposed to be there. And a guy comes over and starts questioning me about it and harassing me. And I understand why he was being so harassing, because I was answering his questions and I was also being very logical with him, and he couldn't really come back to me, as he tried to
You know what?
talk down to me, it wasn't working because I'm not your typical what people would consider black person. So some people would say, black would say I talk white when I'm talking and dealing with them. They don't really not prepared for that.
You're not black
so he
enough.
starts going into
Another show
this
we did.
diatribe of, well, I must
When
be
you were
there, and I just started countering it. It's like, oh, well, you can't be here for your 2 minutes, so you say, because what if a fire? I'm like, oh, do you guys have a lot of fires constantly on campus? Is that I'm up here like every 2 or 3 days picking my friend up. I said, I haven't known, are there fires here a lot? I certainly won't park here if you tell me there's fires here every day. And I didn't understand. I'm looking at him like, what is the issue? And that was the only time I actually felt he was doing it because I was black. I don't know he hated black people, but I think because I was black, he was doing it more so. Because I'm like, I see all these white people over here parking, and I mean parking.
George,
And
there
leaving
was
here.
definitely people parking and doing
Right.
shit
As
there.
as opposed to me stopping and saying, I got it. I'm not supposed to be here. I'll be here for 2 minutes. I'm just running up. This is before cell phones. So everybody's wondering, why don't you just call or text? We're talking early 90s here. This is before cell phones. So it was, I had to stop, run upstairs, or go in and ring your bell like, I'm here, let's go. And then you come down and we would go.
Yeah, racial stuff never really happens to me. The only thing I really get are like, the short stuff for obvious
That is
reasons.
not the same thing. I don't
You
even
know,
know why you would say it. I mean,
No,
I
no.
guess you could be racist against short people. I guess,
See, that's
like you got to be this tall to have rights.
I will
See,
say,
no,
particularly when I
there's,
go up
right?
there's
north,
like something. There's a nice little standards going on there. See, like let's say a guy was to say, no, I'm gonna use this example. A girl said she doesn't like short guys, right? I'm gonna get angry at that because she wouldn't date those. But if I was to say, well, I don't like fat girls, she would get angry.
what about fat bottom girls? They do make the rocket.
Well,
roll go
you
round.
and then on both sides, you just like what the fuck you like. But I get your
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
It's a little bit of a, I get it.
I can get angry for being short
Real quick before you end,
and
I
for
must
people
say,
making short jokes.
I do enjoy when I go up north because I can kind of play around up there a little bit because of my intelligence factor.
I enjoyed the little bit that I
could
saw
get a
there.
little loose
We
and
had
banter.
the guy that
'Cause
went at the farm.
They're a little on edge. They don't know because they don't see black people up there. It's a white town. I mean, there's black people there, but you got to hunt for them. They're not around. So they don't know how to interact. They want to be able to joke or josh or play games, but your typical black person could show up and they do that and they'd get offended.
Yes.
So they're a little bit on edge with me. So I start dropping some stuff to make them a little uncomfortable. It's like, what the hell is this guy doing? And then I let them in on the joke. I'm like, it's okay. I'm half a head, so I can walk that line.
Before we end, I just want to talk
Very
real
recent.
quick because it's just on my mind about have you had any run-ins with the police that turned out bad?
Not in the level you've had.
Yeah, I've had some stuff happen.
I had the one that you got out the car and left down.
I did get out of the car and leave.
Then they came peeling around the corner. You're like, bye. And you got out and left.
Nope.
Well, that's not true. I did have an issue with the military police in West
No.
Point.
Personally,
But
no.
I'd rather
nothing-
not really go into that
Nothing
right
too
now.
crazy.
That's a long one.
Yeah, if I remember it.
If I do something with that subject, I will.
I've tried to
we'll
wipe
do
that from my memory, but to remember that.
We'll
is
save
a
that for
long
another
story.
time since we're running out of time. The whole police thing. I think it's
Generally
good.
speaking, no. Most of my interactions with the police have been very good. There's always an exception to stuff, but most people.
Well,
I've dealt with have been-
I'm already starting off negative because I'm not a fan of the system, and I think there's a lot of bullshit going on. So it just sets my mind off. So I'm already.
And I was thinking that, as I've told you, the last time I had interaction with them when I had your car. I got
You
pulled
see what I'm
over at
talking
work.
about?
And that was a really bad day. So I certainly could have had a bad reaction with them as.
And
a
then like the
person
thing with
might be
they
called for.
preemptively are telling me about the pricing and remember that thing with the last ticket I got? You saw how they like preemptively said if you
If you're offered a plea deal,
Yeah, I'm like,
you have
wait,
to pay,
what?
pay in cash at that time. 'Cause you won't be
it
offered
sounds
to
like
pay
there's some
again.
bullshit going on.
Sounds like they're just trying to get some extra
It's money. It's all about money. I think it's all set up like that in terms of the speed limits and
absolutely.
the offside parking, all that shit. All right, but we're running out of time, so we're gonna have to end the show there. But as always, thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, comment. Tell Godzilla to go fuck himself.
Or don't.
Or don't.
But remember Birdface. I'm getting
Don't-
out of here.
Don't remember that.
Goodbye, everybody.
Deuces.